Welcome to Wild Rose Path. This is my first tea making video. So basically, all today we're going to do is make a cup of tea. So this is me playing around with a new format of video. We're going to see how it goes, so it may not be the most exciting today, but what I'm going to do is make a really simple cup of herbal tea, and I am using Limeflower. So lovely Limeflower. You might know Limeflower as Linden. You can use either name. So Limeflower or Linden. A little bit of Hawthorn, and I've got some lavender tops which I have harvested out of the garden and let dry, so they are ready and fresh to go in a nice cup of tea. So if you're new to Wild Rose Path, then welcome. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we will get some more videos out of maybe some other herbal teas, or maybe we will do something else with plants. We could do maybe a plant sit in the garden. I'm open to suggestions at this point. Right, so let's get making this tea. I'm going to have a little bit of a ramble while I do, so we won't be bashing these jars about too much. So yeah, Limeflower, Hawthorn and Lavender. So I've boiled the kettle recently. We've got our nice little glass teapot. Now, I've watched loads of these videos. We need to do some sounds, don't we? Okay, that's quite a cool one. We have the teapot, and we have the Pompey mug, obviously. Lovely. I like to be able to see what I'm drinking when it's herbal tea. Everything has to be see-through. And we have a measuring spoon. Okay, so some people are getting very serious with their herbal teas, and we measure everything out precisely. I'm not making this tea so much for a medicinal purpose, so when I make herbal tea, I just kind of go intuitively, and put in what I feel needs to be put in. You can, once you get more like familiar with making herbal teas, it's like cooking, you get more involved in a recipe, you do it loads of times, then you don't worry so much about getting the measurements exact. You kind of know what you need. So let's put some herbs in. Okay, so I'm going to start with Limeflower. So I wanted to use, the thing is, I've labelled this as Limeflower, and then as I've been going on my plant path, I see it everywhere referred to, particularly teachers from the US referred to as Linden, and now I just call it Linden. So back, I labelled this jar like 5 years ago, and then I used to call it Limeflower. So yeah, Linden, just to confuse things. I have been working, I wish you could smell it. It's very nice. I've been working with Linden a lot recently. It's good for the heart. It's good for, I use it as part of my bedtime drink to help me relax and open up as well, and really relax and open up in the heart center. So if you followed a Wild Rose Path for a while, you'll know that we do a lot of heart-centered work. So this herb is super important for that. So we have 1 tablespoon, looks about yay much. So carefully put that down. And we're going to pop this into the little strainer compartment. Okay. So that's 1 tablespoon, that should be good for this. Again, it's just a daily tea. So yeah, to start today, I just wanted to make a little cup of tea and have a bit of a ramble. You know, there's so much crap going on in the world at the moment, and sometimes we just need like a little relaxation break. So, you know, whether you're watching this and you want to make a cup of tea as well with whatever herbs you've got to hand, there's no preciseness with this video. You know, we use what we have to hand, basically. At this time of year when I'm filming this, it's July, so there's quite a lot of herbs going on in the garden. If you have access to that, it is great to just go outside and cut a few different flowers and herbs and then bring them in and make like a garden tea, just something homemade, something intuitive. Now, hawthorn. I only have a little bit left, I need to get some more. Loving the hawthorn, you know, this is your classic heart herb, your heart tonic. It's got so many good points for heart health. Obviously, remember, if you are, you know, if you have difficulties with blood pressure or heart issues, or you're on medication, and you're using hawthorn and other possible herbs, you do need to maybe consult a medical herbalist before you start taking things. You know, always make sure before you start taking herbs that they are safe for you to use in your circumstance, you know. And even if they are as well, you've got to listen to your body. You know, if you're having something that maybe everybody says is wonderful, but you're feeling bad for it, then your body's the key factor there. Your body's telling you. You know, everyone is raving about kombucha at the moment, and I can have little bits, but if I have too much, I've got IBS, and if I have too much, and my stomach just knows about it, and it's so uncomfortable and discomforting, so I have to be careful with that. So yeah, always listen to your body. But hawthorn, I've only got a tablespoon with me at the moment, but I'm not going to fill it up as well, because you can't look. It doesn't fit in. So I'm going to pour a bit in, because we're just winging it, you know. Okay, I reckon about, whoops, it's probably nearly half a tablespoon, maybe. What do you think? I think we'll go for that. So yeah, hawthorn is amazing for heart opening as well. Really working with that at the moment. So not just the herbs as well. I use a lot of crystals in my work. So if you are, you know, trying to open your heart center and you're working with herbs like these at the moment, try some crystals as well. Rose quartz being the classic one. I'm also working with a stone called rose sapphire, which you can buy from only select places online, and that is amazing. There's an amazing energy, that stone. It's really great. I'm putting it on my heart center at night time, and I can really feel it resonating and helping me to open up before bed, which is ace. So yeah, I've got these. I'm not going to put all of these in. Lavender is definitely, for me, a question of personal taste. Some people love loads of lavender in. I'm not woo. It's, you know, it's heavy on the floral, obviously, because it's lavender and all the aromatic oils in it. I can just smell that from here. I'm going to put like that much in, because that's enough for me. Okay, maybe one more, because it does smell nice. But yeah, in terms of taste as a tea, it's very subjective. Right, so we've got everything going on. So I'm going to get the kettle and we will brew the tea. Right, so I've got the kettle. It's boiled fairly recently, but not straight away. I leave it for a couple of minutes before I pour it onto the herbs. Okay, so hopefully that picked up. Okay, so I've left the tea for a couple of minutes to brew. I would usually probably leave it about 5 minutes or so to brew, but for the purposes of this video I've just left it a couple of minutes, because otherwise I'll be just stood around. But you can see we've got a nice colour going as well, so I would say if we'd left it a little bit longer it might be a little bit deeper, but it's a question of taste. There's a little bit of rogue, I think that's a little bit of rogue Hawthorn in there that's made it through the strainer. That's hot. So, thank you for spending just this little few minutes with me having a brew. Yeah, let me know in the comments below what kind of herbal teas you want at the moment. Where we are, the calendula has just come into flower. I'm just looking out in the garden and there is loads of big orange calendula flowers, and I might have to ask the plants if I could have 1 or 2 this week and make them into a tea, because I just love the energy that comes off those flowers. You know, that solar energy is really, really nice to take in part of a tea. So something I've always previously said on this channel as well, and I think in the 5 Simple Rituals ebook that's available that we've got, is, you know, finding them pockets of time for yourself during the day. And, you know, if you're a caregiver as well in particular, it can be so hard to get a little bit of time to yourself. So even just something as simple as this, the ritual of making the tea, you know, so instead of just grabbing a mug, boiling the kettle whilst you're running around, wanging a tea bag in and the water, and then kind of squeezing everything you can frantically out of the tea bag and necking it, rather than that is kind of making tea as a ritual, like a real slowing down. So, you know, maybe trying to be mindful while the kettle's boiling, taking your time, selecting the herbs if you're using herbs, or you might be using tea bags, you know, like pucker tea for example, but just taking your time getting the tea bag or the herbs, and just really slowing the whole process down and making it into a little bit of a mini ritual during the day. And then really, especially if you're drinking herbal tea, really sitting with drinking that, and as you drink it, kind of seeing where's it feel like it's going in the body. So the most obvious thing is, we drink the tea and we feel it go into our stomach, but can you, if you keep practicing, can you feel where it goes beyond that? Sometimes you'll feel, as you start to tune into it, you'll start to feel whereabouts the herbs are going in your body. They might go kind of up to your head, or they might kind of radiate into your heart centre. There's no right or wrong, but it's interesting as you keep sort of being aware of that, how you can maybe notice where it's going in your body. So I'm gonna go and drink this when it's cooled down a bit and write a little bit more of my latest Substack post. So thank you so much for joining me for my little tea ritual today. If you want to hang out for some more, I will record some more, so just hit subscribe. Otherwise, find me on Substack at wildrosepath.substack.com, and we have some writings and reflections on there as well, and I will see you for the next video.